All right, I believe we should be good to go here. So what's up, guys? I am your host, Nick Mazone, and we're breaking down the NFL slate this weekend, at least the plays that I find the most intriguing and have the best value. So let's get into how we did last week. Pretty good week by all standards. 4-0 on my picks. And went with 3 underdogs last week, so that was pretty good. We hit on the Packers at minus 3.5 versus the Texans. Hit on the Lions at plus 110. I literally said it, that the Falcons find ways to blow games, and they did it once again. 49ers plus 110 versus the Patriots, and Steelers at even money versus the Titans. So 4-0 on those picks, a grand total of plus 4.11 units. Can't be mad at that. And hopefully we can build on that and keep that up this week. I'll just get straight into it. Last week I only had 4 picks. This week I liked a lot of lines. I got 7 picks in total for you guys, and we'll get straight into it. So, first pick of the day, Titans minus 5.5 versus the Bengals. I don't know. I really like this line. Titans 5-1, Bengals 1-5, and obviously they had that tie with the Eagles. So it's just weird to see a 5-1 team versus a 5-1 team, and the spread's less than a touchdown. We talked about the Titans last week, and I actually picked against them. But I still think they're one of the top 5 teams in the league. I think that was just more of I liked the Steelers, and I liked the matchup that they had against the Titans. But this week, I don't really see the Bengals staying in this game. I would imagine that the reason why the line's so close is because the Titans are 2-4 against the spread this year, while the Bengals are 5-2 against the spread. And I think Vegas might be looking to balance it out a little bit. That does happen sometimes, albeit not often. I mean, obviously Vegas knows what they're doing, but I could see that being a reason why this line is closer than it should be. But stylistically, I think this matches up pretty well for the Titans. The Bengals' rush defense is 5th worst in the NFL in yards per game. Obviously, the Titans like to pound the ball. They're 5th in rushing yards per game. So it's a bottom 5 rush defense versus a top 5 rush offense. Right off the bat, I think Derrick Henry's going to have a day. Honestly, could see him having one of his 200-yard, 2-touchdown games. Probably more realistically in like the 130 range, but still. The Bengals, got to give them a little bit of credit. They've hung around in pretty much all of their games, except for one. They have close losses to the Chargers, the Colts, 2 close losses to the Browns, and obviously that tie with Philly. But they did get blown out against Baltimore, and that's kind of what I want to look at here. They've had a pretty easy schedule if you look at it in terms of who they've played. And the only really elite team that they have played is that Ravens team, and they got blown out in that one. And I think it might happen again. So, yeah, sure. Burrow's good. I like Burrow. I like the direction he's heading. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are playing well. Mixon's coming alive a little bit. But I really just don't think it's going to matter. I think this Titans team is going to win pretty easy. I think they're going to score a lot of points. Because really the Bengals, I really just want to pound this into you guys. They haven't played many good teams, and the one game that they did, they lost big time. So I think minus 5.5 is a pretty good pick here. So that's what I'm starting the show off with. It's a pretty easy one for me. Just because the Titans lost that last week doesn't mean that we should be out on them. They're still one of the 5 best teams in the league. And we can go against a team that beat them last week, the Steelers. They're underdogs again this week. I was rolling with them as underdogs last week, and I'm doing it again. This time you get them at a little bit better value, plus 170 versus the Ravens. Really, this is a classic rivalry game. Steelers and Ravens, you know the history there. But they're both amongst the teams, the league's best teams. Steelers 6-0 on the year, Ravens 5-1. Should be a really great game. I'm excited to watch it just for the sake of seeing two good teams play each other. But the same reason why I liked the Steelers last week is the reason why I like them again this week. I just think their front seven is too good to not bet on against a team that primarily likes to run the ball. Ravens are averaging 164 rush yards per game. They throw for less than 200 yards per game. And the Steelers defense allows just 68 rushing yards per game, second best in the NFL. We saw last week, they didn't really – you can't just completely shut down Derrick Henry, but I think they did about as good as you can do. I think that it's the same thing this week. You can't just completely shut down Lamar Jackson, Ingram, whoever they decide to run the ball with, Dobbins, Edwards, whatever. But I think they can do as best as basically possible to try to make them open up their offense a little bit and do things they're not comfortable with. So I really think this is really a toss-up of a game. I'm in on the Steelers, but I'm also pretty big on the Ravens this year. It's really just a value pick, if nothing else. I think plus 170 is a pretty good value considering it's a team that I do think the Steelers are going to win. But I definitely think it's going to be a close game. I could see this coming down to a last-second field goal in either way or something like that. So in a game that I think is going to be this close, I think plus 170 is too good to pass up on. So I'm going to do that. It's just the couple of things point me in the direction. Stylistically, like I said, it seems to be a good matchup for Pittsburgh. So yeah, I'm rolling with them for value, if nothing else, but I do still think they're going to win the game. Steelers plus 170. And what should be a great game to watch, even if you don't have any betting interest on it. But yeah, we'll move into the next one. It is the Bills minus 3.5 versus the Patriots. I've said it before. I am a Patriots fan. I did bet against them last week. I'm not biased in my picks. Patriots are a bad team, man. I don't know what else to say. As a fan, it hurts to go against my team twice in a row, but I kind of have to, given the lines. This team's just too bad to not bet against, especially at only minus 3.5. Cam Newton, 2 touchdowns this year to 7 interceptions. He's on pace to have his worst NFL season of all time by a pretty decent margin. There's no playmakers anywhere else on the defense. And like I said last week, I think we're starting to see that the offense was more Tom Brady than Belichick's system. I always hated hearing that Brady's a system quarterback. Well, we see what the system's going on. He's got a former MVP there, and nothing's happening in that offense. So, yeah, Patriots scoring an average of 9.33 points per game in the last 3 weeks. I just don't see a drastic turnaround happening in 1 week. On the other side, Belichick's always struggled against mobile quarterbacks. Josh Allen's had a couple of iffy weeks, but I think it's a good spot for a big bounce-back game for him. And I know I'm really only talking the Patriots and not much about the Bills, but that's kind of the reason why I like this line so much is because it's more about me thinking the Patriots are so bad rather than thinking the Bills are good. I do think the Bills are good, but I'm just saying I think it's more the fact that I just don't think the Patriots are going to be able to hang in there with how bad their offense is. So, yeah, I mean, I get the concerns. The Bills couldn't score a touchdown last week against the Jets. They won on kicking 6 field goals, I believe it was. They only had 16 and 17 points the weeks before. It was against Kansas City and Tennessee, so 2 of the top in the league. And I just don't think the Pats are on that level. So I think Bills minus 3.5 is my pick here. It's a game that's going to pain me to watch, but I really just don't think the Patriots can hang in there. Like I could say it in 1,000 different ways, but the offense is just way too bad to bet on, and I think only laying 3.5 is a pretty decent value. So, yeah, so that's my pick there. Going against my team for the second straight week. We hit on it last week. Maybe we'll hit on it again, but we can just keep on moving here. This one was a weird one for me. Rams minus 3.5 versus the Dolphins. When I saw this line the first time, I was kind of shocked to see it. It's Tua making his first start. He's going up against Aaron Donald, and that whole defense as a unit. It confused me. And then I looked deeper into it, and I can honestly say I'm still very confused as to why this line is the way it is. if Tua wins this game, he goes out there and proves Flores right by benching Fitzpatrick when there's honestly the Dolphins are in the hunt for a playoff push. I mean, I'll give it up to him if this turns out to be the right decision. But the move made no sense to bench Fitzpatrick when the Dolphins were looking pretty decent. I get it. You want to see Tua in there, but I would have expected to see him in once the Dolphins had nothing left to play for. But yeah, I mean, this move makes no sense. I have no idea why the line is just about a field goal, 3.5. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. The Rams defense is 6th in yards per game, 2nd in points per game, 5th in passing yards allowed, 7th in rushing yards allowed. They're also 3rd in sacks. They got 4 picks, 4 fumble recoveries. I just don't understand why is a rookie QB making his first start only plus 3.5 against this defense. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm thinking maybe they're all in on the Dolphins defense being able to just stop the Rams completely. I mean, it does rank relatively well in points per game. They're allowing the 3rd least points, but they are allowing the 16th most yards per game. So I mean, they're kind of a bend don't break defense. But the Rams have already beaten the Bears, Washington, and Giants, who, believe it or not, all allow less yards per game than the Dolphins do. But like I said, the defense seems to be bend don't break, and I just don't see that being able to hold up forever. So honestly, this one seems pretty simple to me. It's give me Aaron Donald, give me one of the best defenses as a whole. Give me the Rams minus 3.5 against a team with a QB making his first career NFL start. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. If that's the case, someone please let me know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but this seems like a too good of a line to pass up on. Rams minus 3.5 versus Tua's first start. And get into the next pick before I have a couple of leans for you. It's a Seahawks minus 2.5 versus the 49ers. Obviously, Seahawks coming off a loss last week to Arizona, and 49ers last week beat the Patriots. But the 49ers team is pretty banged up, and I don't know if they're going to be able to continue to overcome it, especially against a team like the Seahawks. They have no Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson just got put on IR. No Deebo Samuel. Maybe Tevin Coleman comes back this week, but I can't imagine them just throwing him into a big role. They had no Richard Sherman on the defense, and now I saw that Jaquiski Tart, Jimmy Ward, and Quan Alexander were all missing practices. I assume that maybe 1 or 2 of them will play. Maybe all 3. It's something to look at. Definitely watch the injury report here because those are some 3 pretty useful pieces to that defense. But I don't know. I just don't think that a team that is this beat up, can hang in there against a team like the Seahawks. I mean, I was on the 49ers last week, but again, that's more on me just being pretty confident that the Pats are pretty bad, maybe one of the 5 worst teams in the league. They got a different monster ahead of them this week in Seattle. So this Seahawks team is leading the league in scoring. They're also number 1 in yards per game. They're the best offense in the NFL, even without Chris Carson, and I'm not sure if Hyde will be able to play. I still think they'll be fine. I'm not too worried about them. I feel like they can run the ball against anybody, with anybody. It seems like I could go out there and run for 80 yards. But regardless, Pete Carroll has a decent history of being able to beat teams that are rush-heavy attacks. Obviously, the 49ers like to do that. It'll be interesting to see how they game plan for this one with missing a couple of running backs if they want to come out and continue to establish the run. I don't know their faith in Jimmy G. They like to open things up with him in play action and stuff like that. So I don't know. In my mind, I just see Russ having one of his games coming off that loss. Maybe that 350-yard 4-touchdown game for Russ. I could see it, and I think minus 2.5 should be a pretty easy cover because I know the 49ers don't have everyone bought in yet, and I think that might be a good reason, or that might be a good evaluation. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. I do think the Seahawks team is great, even though they've had some troubles on defense. I think the offense is too good. They can overcome the defense. So I think it should be a pretty easy cover, even if it's a close game. Obviously, Russ in crunch time is one of the best in the game. So going with the Seahawks, excuse me, -2.5 versus the 49ers for the final pick of the day. And then we can get into some leans. For people that want some betting interest on the game tonight, Panthers -2 versus the Falcons. I said last week that the Falcons should not be favored in any game. Not this week, but they're close. The Falcons will always find a way to lose, I promise you. I don't know if they're really just this bad. I don't know if the coaching is this bad or if they are just actively all in on tanking. I don't know, man. They blow more leads than I've ever seen. And they don't really play too well from behind either. So I'm not even that big on the Panthers. I'm so out on the Falcons that I couldn't say anything more about it. So Panthers -2 in the game tonight. And then Eagles -9 versus the Cowboys. Cowboys offense might have turned into the worst in the league since the Dak injury. I thought they would be fine without him. I was wrong. I can admit that. And also the Cowboys defense is still the worst in the NFL. So we're looking at maybe the worst offense and defense on the same team. And the Eagles, I don't know. They should be able to do it. They look pretty decent the last couple of weeks. So Eagles -9 there. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. 7 picks in total. Kind of flew through a couple towards the end, but I think I made my points relatively clear. So yeah, man, I don't know. 4-0 last week. We got 7 picks in total this week. Not saying we're gonna go 7-0, but hopefully we can get close to it. I don't know. I feel pretty good about the picks, man. I looked through them, and these were the ones that I liked the most. And then I did some research into them, and they kind of backed me up. So I'm feeling good about them. And that's all I got for you guys. So I'll be heading off here soon. Just to let you guys know, I will be live again right here at 6 p.m. tomorrow to break down the weekend's UFC card. If you're not a fight fan, it's understandable. But I'll be back Tuesday to do NCAA. And then obviously a week from today, I'll be doing NFL again. So yeah, hopefully I see you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll see you guys next week. And if you're looking for some NCAA picks, it's not too late. You can check out my show from a couple of days ago, posted on the YouTube here. Gave out a couple of picks there. But with that being said, good luck with everyone's picks this weekend. Hopefully you guys make some money. And if I don't see you guys tomorrow, hopefully I see you guys next week. So I'll catch you then, and good luck.